You know, I think this may be the very first time we've gotten a story that focused so exclusively on Rarity and Pinkie Pie. The only other episode that even comes close would be Putting Your Hoof Down, and they were just playing a supporting role. Once again, I have to give credit to MLP for having such a fantastic roster of characters that you can really throw any two members of the main six together and the story tends to write itself. Even more so when you add Maud Pie to the mix. Though the premise for The Gift of Maud Pie is pretty much one note, it's the interactions, the comedy, and even the random facial expressions where MLP continues to stand out. The episode begins with Rarity and Pinkie Pie on their way to Manhattan. Apparently Rarity's shop in Canterlot has been doing so well she's seeking to expand into other major cities. While it is good to hear that she's drawing closer to her lifelong dream, and it is a fair reason for her to be going off to Manhattan once again, you could actually take this element out of the story entirely and wouldn't lose anything in the process. Pinkie Pie could have said, "I'm going to Manhattan to spend the day with Maud," and Rarity would have easily jumped at the chance to go with her just for an excuse to enjoy the city once again. I suppose it's fine the way it is now though, because focusing more on Rarity's search for a perfect location would have taken away from Pinkie Pie's conflict. Which, again, finding the perfect present for a family member is a premise that's been done. And done, and done, and done some more. But the writing still kept me entertained while not making everything predictable from start to finish. We might have thought that Pinkie Pie bringing out her party cannon so often was just for the purpose of random humor, and I was getting worried they were depending a bit too much on this one gag in order to keep our interest. Turns out the many instances of party cannon were actually serving a dual purpose. I mean, how many of us could have guessed that the eventual solution to getting the rock pouch would mean Pinkie giving up one of her most prized possessions? Though admittedly, beyond that one element, there really aren't many surprises in this story. In the end, it is a very basic slice of life tale. But that does tend to be where MLP shines the strongest, and I wouldn't want them to deviate too far from where they show the most talent. And as per usual, the animators had a lot of fun with background gags and blink and you'll miss it references, such as Steve Martin and John Candy pony lookalikes referring to planes, trains, and automobiles, both the Twilicane and a Shark plushie from the episode Slice of Life, and I don't know why, but when Rarity was doing a full-on Pinkie Pie impression, I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity. I know that the animators were just having fun here, but now I want to see a lot more of it. Hearing Tabitha St. Germain acting hyper was hilarious. And let's not forget the consistently dry humor of Maud Pie. There's plenty of rock-based dialogue, of course, but this episode mixes it up a bit with Maud's stare being able to break Rarity, as well as terrify others with just the mere thought of Maud getting angry. Along with a odd sense that locates anything she wants? You have to wonder whether the entire Pie family has the ability to connect with outside forces no one else can understand. I mean, with all the time Maud spends chatting with Boulder, just how long do you think it'll take before we get a surprise moment of clarity from this rock, much like what we saw with Gummy in Slice of Life? Overall though, The Gift of Maud Pie is still based on a bare-bones premise, and parts of the story do tend to drag a bit here and there. I mean, aside from Pinkie Pie having to give up her party cannon, much of what's left is straightforward and predictable. Then again, even though you won't find a lot of character growth or world building, there are times when you can't help but smile at the adorable interactions and laugh at some of the more absurd moments. Not a great episode by any means, but certainly a good one. More than enough to keep me entertained for a viewing or two. But now I would like to hear from each of you. Since this is the first episode that focuses so exclusively on Pinkie Pie and Rarity, would you want to see them interact more in the future? Do you think that perhaps the rest of the Pie family each have their own sense that defies logic? What are your favorite standout moments that made you laugh the most? I would like to hear your thoughts on The Gift of Maud Pie. And while the moral of gift giving is not a competition may not stand out all that much, I can certainly enjoy such a genuine bond between sisters. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.
It's the Pie Sisters Swap Day song!
Hey,